Hello out there in Streamland. It is Wednesday. It is 10 p.m. on the clock. So that means it is time for D&D in the Svenzone. I am Sven. I'm your dungeon master. Double check and make sure my sounds are working. All right, we are rocking and rolling. I have with us, if you look down, it is Micah. We also have with us below him is Reno. So I had the distinct pleasure of being able to play with my son and my brother. I'll let you guys figure out which is which. And so you can see on the screen, um, we're going to go ahead and we're waiting for Honey Better Sven to grab his. Oh, you did grab your character. All right. So roll for initiative. Now you guys are who are watching on the stream are wondering, hey, did I miss the first 5 minutes? What's going on? I don't know who people are. I don't know the characters. If you'll just shut up and watch for a couple minutes, all that will be explained. So we're rolling for initiative. That's right. 5 and a 3 to start off. Awesome sauce. Actually, yeah, you guys rolled intelligence there. Um, Initiative's on your main page. So in it says in it. That's right. I know you've been married for a long time, so you're not used to being in it, but that's what it is. All right, scrambles. Okay, good. Boom. We still need yours. Scrambles. Go ahead and no, it's right. It's right in the middle of your main page. It says in it. Yep. Just double click it. All right. So now we are live and ready to go. So as the scene opens up, the camera turns to white. There are clouds. The sun is just starting to rise up over the horizon, and the camera dips down through the clouds, and it is raining. And as it zooms down onto over this forest, you see this forest with a river running through it. Um, while I'm talking, I'll go ahead and share the map. So you see a creek running through the river. You see a downed horse and these two huge flying creatures that look like sort of a wasp wannabe, but they're the size of a medium dog, 3 or 4 feet long, um, are on this horse, and its legs are still twitching a little bit as you see them draining the blood from this horse, and down past them in the trees you see this strange foursome. There's this huge minotaur and this big burly guy, both of them in cloaks, trying to protect themselves from the rain. You see a weird looking lizard man type thing, no cloak, no clothes, just sort of like pants down, uh, shorts almost just above his knees, and a backpack. And if you look close enough, you see this little rat hopping along, trying to keep up with them as the things start moving, the rain starts falling, and the wind, you hear the wind. Every once in a while, you hear a crackling of lightning as we begin with one of these huge flies sees them and comes up off the horse and starts making its way toward them. 10, 15, 20. Come on. All right, you had to bear with me here for a second. I never used fantasy grounds before. There it is. All right, so buzzing sound. You can barely hear it through the rain. It's sort of struggling a bit as it's fighting to fly over as it senses better prey. Um, so next up, you see this lizard man, and he's got. You're familiar with what a dragonborn looks like, half dragon man, walking upright. You know what lizard men look like, lizards with big tails, very, very reptilian with big teeth. This thing is neither one of those. Um, it's sort of got, like I said, it's got a bare chest. It's wearing sort of like jerkins, um, and this green carapace sort of only half covering its chest. Uh, you see sort of what looks like some sort of clockwork or metal piece covering its abdomen, um, as it's sort of walking behind, and it's going to move over a little bit. Oh, that's why I don't have the tokens locked. Okay, boom. And so now we're going to enable the line of sight as well. So if it's dark for you guys, click on your character token, and that'll light it up so you can see what's around. Um, so you should still be able to see through the trees and stuff. You can see these flies sort of coming towards you. So this thing is going to get to where he can see. There we go. Now we can see what's going on. It's going to sort of hide behind this rock. And you see he's got this battle axe that's he pulls out in his hand, but he actually sort of says a couple words, and through the rain, this blast of light comes and slams into the giant fly. And it has no clue what's happening. It flies up into it as it burns and takes some damage. All right, so just a second, guys. This is being our first. I'm gonna switch screens real quick for the people watching. All right, so this way now the people watching are able to see the map. They'll also see picture of the bad guys. They always get to see that, so take it for what they will. They always get to see the cameras. So, but during the combats, they'll a little bit more action focus on the action. All right. One last thing, I need to move over this combat tracker so they can see what the hell we roll and why. Maybe. There we go. Boom. All right. Tap Dutchies. That's fine for me. It's educational as well. Hey, welcome. Welcome. So just getting things set up here. Got the combat tracker ready to go. Now you can see what's going on. Here's your map. This is what we're fighting, these giant robber flies. All right, so the second one, lifts up again, fighting the rain, fighting the wind as it's starting to as it flies over. Man, that dead horse just loves getting in my way. There we go. All right, folks, here we go. Now it's moving. I want to make sure we see the horse. There we go. All right, so I know Micah and Reno are patiently waiting because they rolled shit for their initiatives, but that's okay. All right, so we're back in action, and you see the little rat? Um, he sort of scampers over behind Scrambles. So it scrambles under the tree here. And it's going to dodge for the moment. You never know, just in case something decides to sneak up on it. All right, so now we have Jackson Hornfist. So tell us what we see as you start your turn. Yes, so describe what we see, what he looks like and stuff.
He's wearing a helm and with horns on it, and not particularly overly dressed, but has some clothes on. And then he's got a nice big sword in his hand and a shield in his other hand. And he is closing his eyes and concentrating on his next move, which will be sorcery.
All right, so as beautiful as that rendition was, why don't we give him a picture so they can have a better idea of what's going on, what they're looking at here. Give me just so go ahead and decide what you want to do while I pull up the picture.
I'm going to be casting my ray of frost at the giant rubber fly number whatever it is. The top one.
I think it's got a little yellow marker on it. Is that right? And there's a green one on the bottom one.
It usually means we've already done damage. There we go.
All right, so that is what you guys see.
I do have a large battle axe like that, not that big, but across my shoulder. On the other side, I have a javelin at the ready. But right now, I'm holding a sword and a shield.
Nice, badass.
All right, and so to answer your question, you do have one targeted, if that was what you were saying.
Yes, I do. So go ahead and roll.
Yes, sir.
All right. And attack. Come on. Oh, that's not good. I miss. You think?
All right, so rain.
Level of 5.
As you get
Second
ready,
roll. Let's roll again and get to go again. That's like, huh?
yeah, they tapped ouchie. Not sure how to pronounce that, but he says yes. He agrees it's badass. It's his sentiments exactly. So throw back your hood and clear up your arms a little bit, and you just tapped out CY. Okay, there we go. Um, he throws his cloak back, and you just see he's ripped. He's got lots of muscles. He's not wearing armor. Like he said, he's got this huge battle axe sticking out behind him, but sword and shield. And yet he takes the sword, throws it in his other hand for a moment, and then blasts, and you see sort of his whole chest sort of stops for a minute, and his light comes blasting out and shooting forth. The raindrops as it flies through freeze and drop in little icicles as it passes through them. Sadly, it goes blasting and hitting the tree behind the little creature.
It's a slippery sucker.
All right, so we have Scrambles. So Scrambles the Death Dealer. What do we see when the camera turns to you?
So, pretty big Minotaur, about 7'5", big guy, half man, half Minotaur, man from the waist down, Minotaur from the waist up. Just kidding, I'm full Minotaur, but big old thing, big honking horns on it. I have big hairy black cow hair or whatever fur. I'm not really familiar with cow terms. And on my back, I have
Right.
a didgeridoo, which is like this super long tube instrument. And over that shoulder is also this really thick, heavy crossbow. In my hand, I have a great axe for asking questions and things like that.
Nice,
And
nice.
it's all kind of disheveled and just thrown over my shoulder besides the axe that's in my hand. So I take my axe and I kind of stick it into the ground next to me, handle up, and grab my crossbow and take aim at the wasp that is least stuck in the trees, which I think is going to probably be this one. I'm going to go with the one that's closest to me. I'm actually going to move too. So I'm going to take a decent run, get my crossbow on my shoulder, and then come to a stop and shoot. So I'm going to move here. And then if I'm allowed to, I'm going to shoot this thing. Now,
All right.
you'll have to forgive me. I don't remember how to select the thing. I have my dice on my screen here. Do I drag it over the map icon or on the... So if I just want to...
Yep, you can do it onto the creature. You can also select it. You can also put it in the combat tracker. Any one of those three.
So I take my crossbow out. It's a heavy crossbow, so it's a lot
Nice.
bigger. It's not as precise, but it's big, thick bolt, goes right through the rain. Hopefully makes it through the branches, and we'll see if it hits or not.
It does, and it just slams. Again, it shoots. Huge crossbow, almost as wide as he is. Shoots out. This bolt flying through it. The fly doesn't even stop it at all. It just keeps flying right through it as this blood and viscera goes flying out behind it. Now can go to church because it's holy.
Yeah, big old 12 damage to it. I rolled a crit.
Very
which was
nice.
awesome.
Almost max. Nice. All right. So that's the bottom of the round. Now, a couple of things that I do a little bit differently than you may see other players do, other DMs do, is one of the things I do is we re-roll initiative every round. The nice thing about Fantasy Grounds is you don't have to worry about it. So it does it automatically as long as I have the right setting, and I'm just double checking to make sure I am not failing at life.
Initiative meaning the order that we're attacking?
Yeah.
Correct.
Who goes when?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I did it right. Okay. So, boom, bottom of the next round. I like it a lot. Tapped out CY says, wow, I'll try that with my group. I never thought of it. It's really cool because Fantasy Ground does it automatically. If you think of like a big battle, like Braveheart or something like that, where you have this big stuff going on, or even with 3 or 4 people, when they're facing off, one person might sit there and jab 3 or 4 times, and then the other one responds, um, and he might respond twice before the other one gets back. So it's not always I go, now it's your turn, you missed, now it's my turn. So I like the randomness of it. Plus, it helps keep people interested because you never know when you're going to go next. Before, I'm taking my turn, I know it's going to be 10 minutes before I go again, so I'm going to go zone out and go on my phone or whatever. So I love it.
Sorry, I
Everybody up.
couldn't hear you. I was on my phone.
So, yeah.
Oh,
My turn.
All right, so it is Jackson Hornfist.
yes.
You're leading us in round 2.
Right. They have not moved from where they are, correct?
No, they're still over in these trees.
Okay. I am still within plenty of range with my ray of frost. I'm going to throw out the ray of frost again and try to do some damage. Cold and speed reduction and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and roll. Come on, baby. There
Nice.
we go. All right, now damage. All right, here we go. And I don't know what that means. There was 6 was the thing. All right, very good. 6 and 8, awesome.
So again, same thing. Are you going to move?
I will move. Those are trees. They're up on the upper right there. I'm just gonna go up like this 1 and 2. Kind of split them up a little bit. Make them come to us. As far as the effect on the ray of frost reduction in speed, is that something that only happens for the critical?
Nope, that works every time. So go ahead and pick the little man. As long as you hit, it works.
Okay, and then just what I roll and then
So
I do that one.
nope, it's automatic. So as long as you hit with it, it's a save or suck. If you hit, then it does the damage and it slows it by 10 feet. If you miss, then nothing happens.
Okay.
You
So
just
it's been frozen a little bit. It gets a little bit of reduction in speed by 10 feet of its total cost. Okay.
Yep. All right. So it doesn't like that.
Hope not.
But
It flies away.
just a silly little insect and has no self-preservation. Mostly because I want to keep the combat interesting. So it's going to fly up and try to. It's going to use its stinger at Scrambles.
I figured.
The death dealer.
That's perfect. He's right in arm sight now.
Oof. And that is a critical, my
Critical.
friends.
I don't like that. That was too much.
Pull
I got too cocky.
back your attacking. Pull it back.
I'm not going to retreat, but I want to look like that kid from My Girl.
All right, and so with 12 points of damage, that is just enough to take him out as he drops. Good news is you don't have to worry about the Constitution saving throw or being paralyzed. So
Yeah, because I'm critted me. I'm like Macaulay Culkin. Where are my glasses? He's supposed to have his glasses. That's what I look like.
So you're saying that he's down on the ground in
Yeah,
his death.
all 12 points.
yes,
Go
as
off.
this thing then turns its proboscis and like a large mosquito jabs it into his chest and starts draining blood from him.
I do not
Scree is going to step up. So if you guys are looking at the name and wondering what the hell's going on, SK is sidekick. So this is a sidekick. Sidekicks were actually introduced in the Dragons of Icefire Peak starter kit, Essentials kit, and so they were made specifically for dungeon masters who wanted to run with 1 or 2 players only, and with a DM. So they threw a couple sidekicks to beef up the party. Their special mechanic that they have, since Tasha's Cauldron of Everything just came out, they
2 seconds. 2 seconds. We'll be back.
Okay. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything came out. They boosted it a little bit, explained a little bit more about what the sidekicks do and how they work and everything else. So, welcome, Kita.
Hey.
So tapped out. CY is here. He says Fantasy Grounds would really help with the flow on this one. Um, I watched one of your videos where you were creating sidekicks. Thanks for that. Oh, awesome. Glad to hear it. Yeah, I did cheat. Take a quick aside since you sidetracked me a little bit here. Um, Cree isn't really a legal one because there's supposed to be only 1/2 CR or less. But the cranium rat is a half CR, so he's a legit 100% sidekick. All right. So speaking of Cree, he steps up and he sort of shoos away the creature as he touches, scrambles, and is muttering something. I'm not, and and you get back 8 hit points.
Hey.
So
It's
you feel this intense pain and everything goes dark, and you're sitting up. I mean, your eyes open, blinking because of the rain. You have this intense pain in your chest as you see this big, large bug right on you, trying to suck the life out of you. And behind him, you see this lizard with his hand on you. It's okay. It's appropriate. So you don't have to feel awkward.
I'm into it. My character could use a little harassment.
there you go.
All right. Yeah, it's unwanted touch is harassment. So there's a distinction there. All right. So it says you are the DM. Anything is legal. That's
Exactly.
correct. All right. So speaking of the rat,
His name is Crick. Or her. Is it her?
so it is going to it's a he, and since this thing is on the ground where he can get to it, he's gonna run up and try to bite this thing. And he does. So all of a sudden, he feels movement as this thing comes flying at it and jumps at it. So I know you guys are asking me, what the hell? What does this thing look like? We can't see anything with the token. What are you doing? So I'm glad you asked. Let me show you what a horde of these things look like. It's a rat. It's about the size of a small dog. Um, for
Premium.
those of you who know Odin, size of Odin, but its brain is sticking out of its skull, and in times like now where it's sort of, because of the rain, it's a little dark, you notice it's actually glowing. It exudes some light from its brain, and as it runs up, it's like, I will save you, my new friend, and he jumps and bites at this thing.
Awesome.
Didn't think I'd have a rat friend, but I'll take anything at this point.
And you hear its
Right,
voice in
right.
your mind. He doesn't actually say anything, doesn't speak a squeak or anything. You just hear this voice in your mind
Okay.
as it speaks to you, and it just tackles this thing, rips it out of your chest as
Good.
blood's pooling in the rain, and knocks it off, and rips it back and starts tearing into this thing.
Yes. Rodent of unusual sizes.
And that is one down. All right, so now you are prone.
Yeah.
It takes half your movement to stand up if you would like. So I'm not going to worry about marking you prone because I presume you're going to stand up.
Yeah, we're at the top of the round again? Oh, yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Nope, we're at the bottom of the round for you. Yep.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, I'm going to stand up and give the rat a big thumbs up and thank you. Appreciate that, little rat friend. And then shoot this one again. Or maybe I'll shoot it. We'll see. So take my arrow out, still probably woozy. Shoot an arrow, kind of wobbly a little bit. Probably don't hit, so I'm gonna stagger backwards to not get hit. Or go, yeah, that there.
Okay. Cool.
Regain my composure a bit, kind of shrug it off, patch the hole in my chest with my fingers because that's about the extent of my medical knowledge. It's bleeding.
All right. So you stand up, stumble back a little bit, and as the bolt just goes zipping past it, these things are so fast. Probably doesn't even know that you were trying to attack it as it moves up. And as Kree stands up from crouching down, this thing is right in its face as it tries to attack him. And 14 on a die gives him a dirty 20, which is a hit.
Dirty 20. Taking it.
Minimum damage, however, blood starts coursing through his body. Venom starts coursing through his body.
Ugh.
Let me put the effect on him because he has. I'm going to open up Kree. Those of you watching get to have a little peek on what he can do. So he has Tough Hide. So he has resistance to slashing. Unfortunately, this thing is not slashing. This is piercing damage, so it still takes the damage. He has advantage on saving throws and poison. So let's see if I did it right and see if it gives him advantage. It did not. Alright, so we'll just roll it again.
He rolled a 2, so
That's what he has advantage, so we should roll twice. He rolled a 2 again. Sucks. Alright, so he is now paralyzed. So you see him as he stands up, this thing bites into him and he goes to start swiping it off, and it slows down and you just see him lock up and you can see the muscles contracting and along his bare arms and stuff on his chest as it's trying to fight it and it just can't move. You guys can easily tell that something is wrong.
that's not good.
Top of the next round, Jackson again.
And there we go. All right, so I am moving up next to the thing right there. Is that next to him? Or,
Yeah.
It is, yep.
You're tucked in the corners.
And I am slashing with my longsword. So I'm all lined up. Just press the thing, right?
Yes, you have him targeted. You're all set.
And oh, miss.
7 on a die, just enough. You don't want to hit Kree as you go to try to
pull it back a little bit. Yeah.
Yep. Your camera zooms in as you're looking at Kree and seeing him struggling and fighting. The camera zooms in and you find yourself back at in a blacksmith's, and you're covered in sweat. You look to be younger. Your horns aren't quite as pronounced, and you've got these smithing tools that you're working, pounding off. Looks to be some sort of horseshoe, and in walks Cree, and he's carrying some supplies and stuff, um, and he's talking to a dwarf that you recognize as your trainer, the one who took you in when you were a child and helped raise you sort of as his own. He sort of treats you like his son, a really good apprentice, if nothing else. And he's the one that taught you your craft on how to be a blacksmith. And Kree has always sort of been there in the shadows, sort of. He's whenever you need somebody to help, when you feel like talking, when you're frustrated, when you get angry. You've always had a problem with anger. So the blacksmithing helps relieve some of that tension as you're able to just pound the metal as hard as you want, uh, and work the bellows and just relieve some of that rage that builds up to you when you get frustrated. But Kree has always been there, and you learned when you were about 12 years old, you learned that your parents, while they don't really are a strong part of your life, they paid for Kree to be with you, and you actually find out later that it's actually a debt that Kree owes your parents, sort of
Ah,
like a life debt. So somewhere along the line, you still haven't learned. He doesn't talk about it. You don't really know the whole story. Somewhere along the line, they did something to save his life, and so he's indebted to them, and as such, he agreed to watch over you and protect you and make sure um, throughout your life as people would bully you, or as you would come upon people who might mistreat you, he was always there as a presence watching over you. And now, as we come back to the rain pouring on him, and you see this creature just sitting there jabbing into him, starting to drain his blood, you start feeling that rage as you want to try to protect him like he's been protecting you. And it is now Trick's turn. So Trix is going to. He moves up a little bit and sees his head tilt a little bit. He's actually granting the help action to Scrambles. The way it works is with the help action, you have to be adjacent to the enemy that the person you're helping is going to attack. So since Scrambles is eventually going to move up and attack this thing, and actually Trix is going to move over, climb up onto the rock. He's distracting it and causing the little creature to sort of pay attention to him so that Scrambles will get advantage on his attack when he attacks.
Okay.
As soon as I can click the right button, here we go. Help to Scrambles. There you go. So now you have advantage on any check and any attack. Alright, so Kree is going, and so for those of you watching the stream, by the way, hopefully you're not watching it on a camera. But if you are, that's okay. You can look up in the corners of the character sheet, so you can see like Scrambles shows his current hit points. You can see their stats, and the little blue thing is their temporary hit points. That's why they're all at 0. So if their initiative is up in the top right corner, so that's what that number is. So if you have any questions, when the bad guy's turn, then it has the active enemy stats, and you can see where they stand as well. So if you have any questions on the layout or how that works, let me know. In the meantime, and you should also see, yes, so in like Kree, you can see his conditions. So he is poisoned, and you can see that on his little stat box down there. So he doesn't get to do anything because he is paralyzed. So let's see if it makes the save. It should make the save for him automatically. Let's see if if it does. And it did. So, but he failed. All right. Scrambles did it now. Back to you.
So it's been a little bit, and by a little bit I mean a few seconds, and I've kind of kicked out of being stung, shake it off a little bit, wipe my face down. I'm gonna run over and grab my axe that I stuck into the ground over here, and then take it and smash it into this bug thing. So I'm gonna go here to pretend pick up my axe, and then move down this way. I don't know if I can do that, but we'll find out. And then move here and attack with my great axe.
All right. And so, despite being paralyzed, you see Kree's eyes widen just a little bit as this giant minotaur is swinging his axe, and he can't move to dodge.
It's
And
Thinking
he
okay.
all of us would go.
crits.
Thinking all
Look
of
at
us would go.
that.
Yeah, I'm very swift, very good with the axe. I didn't think I would need it. I didn't want to show off in front of all my friends and little rat boy. Stuck it in the ground, and then I got killed like an idiot. So I pick it up, grab Old Faithful, go ask it a question, and damage is in the pudding. So let's do some of that. All right. No whammies. Hey, 13.
What
Now,
happened?
how
Why
does
did it
crit-
not? How did it not do the damage? That's weird. All right, so go ahead and just for argument's sake, let me do this. All right, so hold down the shift button and roll the damage again.
Okay.
That's right, like this.
Aha, it did. It rolled 2 that time.
All right, so wham, 18 points of damage as you run up and swoop down. This thing is trying to bite it, and all that's left is the little proboscis sticking out of him, as dribbling blood from it, as this thing just slices right through it. And as it comes down, you slam it into the side of the rock and just squish it and slam it. Blood everywhere.
Gooey.
And
Yes, it's dead. That's good. I'm going to take my axe and grab the corner of my cloak and wipe the goo off of my axe with it.
nice. And as Scree sort of Trix sort of hops up a little bit and back at the as the rock, the axe slams into the rock and sparks fly a little bit. You think back on when you guys first met.
Me and this rat?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So doodly-doo, doodly-doo. Changing maps. What had happened was you guys were Scrambles and Jackson had left Neverwinter, where Jackson was a blacksmith, had learned his trade, and his dwarven master had finished up a big order for the town of Phandalin. And I'll put that in the chat for you. And so you guys had loaded up your horses, put a couple, filled the saddlebags with a whole bunch of detritus from things like horseshoes, bags full of nails, the metal parts of the plowshares. There were a handful of weapons, a couple swords, some daggers and knives, eating knives, even a metal shield was in there, a couple boxes full of arrowheads, and another box full of bolt heads for crossbow bolts. You had loaded those up, jammed them all up into your saddlebags, and you were headed to Phandalin. So as the two of you with Kree were coming around the corner. Give me just a moment. And I'm going to drop out of this view for those of you watching. Let me go ahead and share the map real quick, and then we'll Lost Cree. There we go. So you traveled a day, slept, figured you're about a couple hours away from Phandalin, maybe 2 or 3 hours away.
Is there a new map?
When you came around the corner, yes, you should see the map now.
You see the other map as well, or no?
Yes, you should see the new map now.
And should I save the other map?
Oh no, you don't need to save it. Give me just a minute to switch views here. So in a perfect world, guys, I'll be able to have this all ready to go and just click. So give me, but turn off that one and switch to that one. Okay.
Is Cree still paralyzed? Or no?
All right. So now all of you at home watching on the stream can now see everything I see. So you have the power like I do. All right. So except I'm missing my dead bodies. There we go. We can make these
A
visible.
dubious statement there.
All right, just trying to get my dead bodies to show. All right, so you guys were heading down this this trail toward Phandalin. This is you guys had broken camp and had started off. You've only been traveling for less than an hour. It's been raining. It's dreary. You guys are huddled in your cloaks. Flashes of lightning every once in a while as you're throwing. And then you notice ahead of you as you look up about 80 feet down the path, you see a tipped over wagon. And it's a little hard to tell from this distance through the rain and stuff, but you think you see some bodies there. What would you like to do?
Knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows my
Check
sorrow.
things out. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm pro body checking. I mean,
The wagon too.
yeah,
There's something going on. Maybe
looks like there's something in the back of it. Maybe some boxes or something spilled out.
So
some jugs there, some jars, mason jars.
your tokens are unlocked. So move about 10 feet at a time, anywhere you want, where you would normally move, and I'll let you know if anything happens or if you see anything strange. Screes fall. Are you staying mounted on your horse?
Are you talking to Scree or who?
To Jackson first, since he's moving up. Are you staying on your horse?
Yes, so far.
Okay. What about you, Scrambles? You riding into the woods? Are you staying on your horse?
I didn't even know I had a horse, and no, if I'm gonna go under trees, I'm already 7 foot tall. Being on top of a horse, I'm just gonna smack my face on stuff, so
Okay.
I'll get off. Is the
All right.
rat with me? Am I like holding the
Nope.
rat or something?
You've never heard or seen the rat before in your life.
What?
This is before the rat.
Oh, so this isn't the same time.
Nope.
Okay.
This is before. This is how you met the rat.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
Well, then, yeah, I'm just gonna kind of go through the trees with my horse. I don't like to approach things in a straight line, so if he's gonna go through the main path, I'm gonna go off to the side in the woods. Hopefully, we don't get ambushed.
All right. So Kree's gonna hang back a little bit. He'll take the reins of your horse.
That's awesome.
All right.
Well,
So you can see as we click and hold each character, you can see the line of sight they have through the trees and what they can and can't see. So definitely you see two bodies laying on the ground. They look like small people, so you're not sure if they're kids or halflings or something, but they look small.
As we're approaching, definitely looking around, peripheral, keeping an eye out on what's going on in the darkness around us, see if we're going to be ambushed, whatever.
All right, so hold on just a moment. Let me. Oh, I don't have you in the party sheet. 1 second.
I'm not nearly that careful. I'm just kind of keeping arm's distance from everybody, but I'm not looking out for anything. I'm just kind of watching the bodies over here more. I care more about what's happening at the wagon than I do what's happening around me so much.
I had the just I had that screen pop up about the compile logs. Should I just close that?
Yeah, if you receive a gray error message, you can clear it if you want, and then just close it.
Okay.
All right, so you two should see a
Perception
window
check.
pop up in the middle. Just click it.
Hell yeah! Ooh,
Oh,
All right, so you can tell that these look to be goblins,
ugh,
Jackson,
gross.
and you think you see some movement in the wagon.
all right. I'm gonna in a stage whisper say to Scrambles, "You can see some movement over there. Be cautious."
What? Do you see something?
Mhm.
Okay. I'll try to tiptoe as quiet as I can in my giant armor with my didgeridoo.
All right, so go ahead and keep moving up a little bit. All right, so a flash of lightning strikes and sort of startles you both as you're slowly creeping up, looking on
Jackson,
edge. Um,
I'm getting off my horse now.
okay, tapped out CY says, unfortunately, I have to go to work. It is morning here. I shall watch your adventure this evening. Thanks. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Come back next week. This will also be on YouTube tomorrow, so you can check it out. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming. Have a good day at work.
All right, and so Scrambles, you're holding what? Oh, you said you have your axe.
I have an axe that I pretty much just carry around with me.
Okay.
Once again, big didgeridoo on the back, thrown over the other side. No particular order, nothing fancy, just kind of thrown over for convenience. But axes in hand.
And Mr. Jackson, what are you holding?
I'm holding my sword. It's a long sword, but in my hands, it looks like it's a regular sword.
Nice. Okay. Do you have
I
your
am
shields out as well?
gotten off the horse. I've not grabbed my shield yet.
All right. So Kree will move up and grab the reins again. So he's got both your two horses in his as well.
All right, I'll grab my
So
uh,
yes, go
shield.
ahead and give me. Let's see. All right. So I'm going to request 2 rolls here.
Okay.
So as you're approaching, um, all right. So survival. For those of you who may not be familiar, is things looking for like tracks, things having to do with nature, um, looking for, whereas medicine is more along the lines of what killed these things. Uh, so it's clear, Jackson, to you, you don't think they died of natural causes. If they did, then parts of their body spontaneously ruptured and split, causing them to bleed everywhere. Scrambles, you have a better idea of what's going on. It looks like these were um, attacked, and it looks like blades, slices. It doesn't look like bites or from animals or things. Um, both of you notice there is no horse. The horse is gone. Um,
Ah,
and 21 scrambles. So scrambles, you see the horse's tracks leading off around to this direction up here. Do you see? Are you able to see the little arrow?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. So you see the horse's hooves. Looks like there was a struggle from where it was attached to the wagon at some point. You can see the ground is all dug up as it was fighting and wrestling with something, and then it sort of takes off and it looks like it was galloping as it was going around that corner there. You can tell from the way the ground is dug up and
I'll beat up.
messed up. Yep.
Sure.
Um, and so now that you guys are that close, you can see these are two goblins. Looks to be a male and a female. They are well dressed.
Hmm.
And so as you look at these goblins, um, you think back on how you grew up and the local uh, culture. Um, you're both of you were in the city of Neverwinter, and the city of Neverwinter is one of the biggest cities on the entire Sword Coast. Um, there's Neverwinter and Baldur's Gate, and they pretty much fluctuate back and forth as to who's has the bigger population at any given time.
right.
So Neverwinter is this huge melting pot. It's a port city as well, so there's lots of trade that comes in through the ships, and then goes out, all spreads out all the way out into the Sword Coast. It's and so part of that as well is it's a very mixed, like a melting pot of all different races, all different people. Um, there are humans, or just maybe 55% of the population, just barely more than everyone else. But there's all the things that you would associate with normal races, like dwarves and elves and half elves and things along those lines. But there's also monstrous races. There are goblins, there are kobolds, there are tieflings, minotaurs, um, even hobgoblins and orcs have incorporated themselves in society. You all had learned, whether formally or informally, as part of your training, if nothing else, people talk about it and you hear bards' tales of 200 years ago there was this huge uprising of the Sinister Six, is what they were called, and there was two necromancers, three wizards, and one sorcerer who led the whole group. And their whole purpose was they were trying to take over the Sword Coast, this whole region here, and through uh, they separated into different cities, and so these necromancers were slowly building up these armies, and you had these wizards conjuring up demons and opening up portals to the abyss, and they then gathered together and started marching and starting to take over all the different cities, the major cities, going against the mage guilds and the hero guilds and the knights orders of the knights. And they were so powerful that even some of these monstrous races, these orc clans and these goblin tribes, were banding together with side by side with humans and dwarves coming from the mountains and elves coming from the trees. They were all banding together to fight this Sinister Six. Since then, and that lasted almost 50 years before they were finally wiped out. Again, the stories aren't really clear about what exactly happened to them, but the point is, since for the last 100 years or so, monstrous races are now more on a level playing field. Obviously, you have racism that happens because people are people, but um, as long as they bathe regularly enough to not be offensive and don't attack people, There's nothing to stop an orc from walking into Neverwinter, setting up a stand, selling goods, selling wares, being going in to be an apprentice at the Mage Guild, things like that. So as you look at these goblins, well, the way that they're distinguished are feral and civilized. So these look like civilized goblins to you. They're dressed in like a merchant would be. Um,
Right.
you can tell from they don't, the weapons that they have are just simple swords, short swords on their sides. Um, the wagon itself looks like it had some goods on it. Um, so you're guessing that came from Phandalin, since that's the closest city, and they're coming from that direction. Phandalin is to the southeast. So
Okay.
you're guessing these were goblin merchants leaving Phandalin who got attacked. And uh, Mike, Scrambles can tell that they were killed by some sort of slashing weapon.
Yeah. So I'll approach the cart and I'll say, "It's too bad they had to go that way. Nobody wants to get stabbed like this. Looks pretty messy."
Most definitely.
So Kree will move up. Jack, hold this and hold the range for a moment. Let me see. And he hops down and sort of takes a look, turns them over. Says, "Yes, you are correct, Scrambles. These were attacked." And as he looks around on the ground, stuff. The rain has sort of ruined. I can't tell what it was, but it
Are they
looks.
dead?
Let me. And he sort of says a final prayer over each of them. Oh yes, they are dead.
I kick it with my foot a little bit. Yeah, I think it's dead.
That's it. The universal test, right?
Go get a stick and we'll poke it.
Shoe in the gut. There you go.
Try. Take your heavy crossbow and double tap just to make sure.
Right. And so Jackson was still looking around and stuff, but he's not seeing anything as far as something suspicious or movement or anything.
I'm going to investigate the horse tracks over here a little bit.
Okay.
I think that's the horse went this way. I'll look around through the mud.
All right.
Look over her by those trees.
I think I'll go take a gander at the wagon, see what they were carrying.
All right, and so Scrambles, as you move around a little bit, you hear. Give me a check. I'm gonna push this to you. DC 10.
I failed.
All right, so you hear. You have food?
I'm going to look around. Does it sound like
You
it's coming
can't
from
tell
up?
where it's coming from as you look around.
Yes.
Is this something that Jackson might hear as well, or he's not hearing it because of the rain and stuff?
So you see Scramble sort of looking around, and you hear him say, "Yes." You do not hear anything. You don't know what he's doing or why he's saying that.
I'm going to look over my shoulder at the cart. You hungry? Looking over at Jackson at the cart, the wagon.
No, am I seeing any food here? Is there any sort of food I can easily identify?
So it looks, as you're looking at the cart, you see some broken pottery, and it looks like a lot of what was there was some sort of like ceramics and pottery, and it's either was only half full or a lot of it seems to be gone. But you do not see any kind of food or anything else in there.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing any food over here.
Okay, well,
See anything over there?
No, I have some sweet red juice if you're interested.
You give me food, I can help. I'm a good helper. Trix is a good helper.
Do you guys see where that's coming from? Something's talking to me. It wants food.
Nothing over here. I don't hear anything.
Cree
I'm
sort
gonna
of
look
looks up. Uh,
look
I
into this
hear
bush.
nothing.
I'm gonna move over here and look through this bush and these trees. Do I have any food in my pouch? I have one pouch in my inventory. It doesn't tell me if there's food in it or not.
Do you see rations anywhere on your
No.
inventory?
No rations. Oh, I do. One day. Aha. I have rations.
What's the number next to it to the left?
10.
So you have 10 days of rations.
Okay. Well, I will act rationally and take out 1 day of rations.
Nice, nice. For some reason, you have 20 torches. Oh, that's right, because
You
you.
never know. You never know when you might
That's
need a
right.
torch. In fact, I'll have a torch also.
You have flasks. That's the key. The flask and the torch.
Yeah.
That is the main thing here.
Yeah. It's raining. Who knows? So I'll take a thing of rations out in the. I'm going to set the food down in the square to the top right of me and take a step back. So there's food in between these two trees, but I don't want to be near the food. Gonna jump back and then watch the food. Hey, I'm feeding something over here. I don't know what it is, but I gave it food.
So you see this rat come
I
hopping
run
out
over.
from the little tree,
Yeah, no.
and he says, "Oh, thank you, thank you." And he picks it. You see him hop over, and then he grabs it and is hunched back on his hind legs as he picks it up, sort of eats it, sort of like a squirrel. Um, from what little do you know of rats, rats typically don't do that. They
No.
typically stay down, but you see it's using its forepaws, and and he says, "Tricks, help!" And he sort of stops for a second. Scrambles, fix Tricks can help. Scrambles, as he's eating.
Does Jackson see Trix as
So
well or not?
yes, you see Tricks, you not hear him.
Okay. Well, as soon as I see him, I'm standing up, stopping, inspecting anything on the chart, and just paying attention, ready in case it happens. Alert.
So,
So sort of out of the corner of your eye, you saw Scrambles do something and sort of watch it come move back, and then you saw the rat. And Scrambles move out of the way, and you see that there were some rations. He left a ration there on the floor, so you're able to figure out what happened. And you see this thing's again, it's just eating, and then it stops for a minute, and it keeps eating.
Scramble, you got this under control here.
yeah, I'm feeding the woodland creatures like
All
Snow
right.
White. And apparently the rat's name is Trix. And he likes rations.
There you go.
So far, so good. I might have a rat companion, like a little rat buddy. We'll see. I don't want to act do anything weird, so we'll see. It's a rat. I don't really trust it.
All right, if you got it, I'm gonna keep looking through the card here and then see if anything of value going on here.
So meanwhile, Cree is going to move the bodies over off the side of the road a little bit. And give me this. Alright, so you both hear and he comes back out and you see he's cleaning off his axe. And as you're sort of looking at him, it's like, had to make sure they do not come back as undead.
Oh,
There you go.
got a double tap.
Yep.
Alright, so Jackson, so as you examine the wagon, you see that there's a small amount of clear liquid that has pooled at the corner of the driver's seat. The way it's tilted and such, there's no rain going in it. So
Okay.
you can see that it looks a little weird. So you sort of look underneath there, get down in the mud, and as the mud squishes and your pants are now all muddy and gross, you see that there's a pouch that's been tied under the seat.
I'll go ahead and take that pouch.
So it's
I'm gonna be. I just want to do a quick check on it for in case there's something, a needle in it or some sort of thing. If I can do it some sort of sleight of hand.
People don't carry needles in their ass pouch. I think you're good.
well, the pouch is made to hold
Under the
6
seat, though.
potions. You can feel it. It's got the ceramic or metal slots inside it. But a crossbow bolt had pierced the driver's seat
Over my,
and had pierced through one of them. And so, as you
get my hand
jury
closer.
pulled it out, you don't see any kind of traps on it itself. Um, but you do see that in addition to the broken vial, there are 4 full vials still intact, and then 1 empty vial.
All right. I do not have any skills. Okay.
So, Scrambles, you see him holding that. And you also, Scrambles, you notice that there's a cage on the ground in the back, sort of about right there. And
Hmm.
the it was a wooden cage that has been broken.
Oh no. I'll go over and look at it.
Okay.
How big is it? When I pick it up, am I holding it? Is it like a bird cage, a small like rat trap cage, or
It's about the size of a 10-gallon fish tank. So it's about
okay?
2.5 feet wide, uh, maybe a foot deep,
Okay.
and it's only about 12 inches, a foot high. So those rough dimensions, um, and you hear
Now,
Trix doesn't need home, but if you could get bed so Trix can sleep, Trix will go with you.
okay. So I'm gonna look up at Jackson and I'm gonna say the rat will come with us if we can get a bed for it. Is that hay back there? Is there anything
Well,
like
you
an extra
notice in the
cloak?
cage that there's a bundle of ripped cloth and things that have been jammed together into this
Mm,
amorphous blob.
I'm sure I
okay.
can
It's
make
now
something
all
on the
wet.
front of my horse if for traveling and whatnot.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll
We'll,
grab it out and then kind of. Is this what you mean, Trix?
You want cage? You want home open?
Sure. I guess. Yeah.
So Trix, so he sort of sits up and waits for you to answer, and when you say yes, he scampers, climb, climbs up the wagon, scampers across, hops down, and you see him go and dig and burrow, and then come back with this little pouch in his mouth as he comes scampering back. Um, and are you still holding the cage, or did you put it down?
No, I probably still got it in one hand.
Okay. And so he comes as he's scampering back. He says, uh, he's sitting on the flattened part of the side of the cart, and he
Okay.
sort of stops a few feet away from you. And says, uh, "Put home down, and
Okay.
tricks will open."
I put it down.
So he spits out the little thing, and he then pushes open it back, and you see that it's a small set of thieves' tools.
Hmm.
And he uh, uses his mouth, pulls it open, grabs it with his little paw, walks over and works at the lock and pushes open the door, puts the tool back, closes the the case again.
Super
Home
handy.
open now.
Scrambles, I found this little thing under the seat here. Do you know anything about potions or anything?
Um, I do not. I know you can drink them.
So he'll.
I wouldn't just go willy-nilly drinking down potions right now.
Well,
So
I'll bring them. I'll just bring
I'm
them
a
along
gambling
with
man. I'm willing to try it.
so Trix will sort of looks over at Jackson again. You see this exposed brain coming out of its head, and it's glowing. It's letting off light. Um, Mechanically, you think it would give off 5 feet of light. Um, and so you can see in a 5 foot diameter around it. It would give off light. And he says, "You have food?" And you hear that in your mind. Oops. Yes, so Jackson, and now Scrambles, now that it's been happening a lot, you realize it's speaking telepathically to you.
Cool.
So Jackson, it sort of tilts its head at you and says, "You have food?"
out loud, I say, "Yeah, I think we have some." And he wonders if we can say it in his mind and read it.
So do you try to respond
Yeah,
with your mind?
say, yes, we have food, and then I'm gonna say, what kind of food are you looking for in my mind, and see if he says anything.
All right. So Scrambles, you're watching him after he opened the cage, uh, and you see him sort of turn toward Jackson, and you see Jackson looks like he's trying to push one out,
Nice.
squinting at him.
He looks like everybody else when
Um,
Professor Xavier is trying to talk to him.
That's right. And Trix responds, "Yes. I not picky. Good food or bad food. If you whatever food you don't like. Trix likes all food."
Is
Got
that your,
a telepathic here, dude.
is that your brain? And I'm gonna take a step forward with my finger, see if I can poke its brain.
So it'll.
Not,
it's,
not
You are
hard.
you
not
are
trying to kill the
incorrigible,
thing.
dude.
I'm not trying to kill it. I'm just curious. What is that?
Gamble, you are incorrigible, man.
so it sort of
Can't fix you anymore.
tilts its head a little bit as you get close, and you're able to touch his brain.
Ugh, gross. That's his
Stop
brain.
poking the thing, dude.
Definitely his brain. We gotta get him a helmet or
Can't take you
something.
anywhere, man. Can't take you anywhere.
Put a helmet on it. It's not okay. I'm gonna stand back and rub my finger on my shirt.
So, what was your name again? Say out loud.
Tricks.
So
Like-
it goes
Trick
to jump on your hand, and you're already moving back anyway. So it stops. It wasn't trying to attack you. It was just looks like it
Try to
was
be a
just
part of
trying
me.
to crawl up you.
Yeah, I don't know about that yet.
What did you say, Jackson?
I said I was asking what kind of food for, and then I was asking his name, just to clarify what his name was. What's your name?
Trix.
Trix. Very good.
Old master trained me. He was really good at tricks. So he called me Trix, and I learned from him. But he's dead. So now I have new
Very
master. New master Scrambles.
I
Alright,
guess
John,
I'm
you
Both
did.
of you are hearing this, by the way.
new master by process of elimination.
Looks like you got a new friend, dude.
Hey, it can pick locks. So I'll take that.
There you go. All right. So you find anything else here of interest in amidst the merchandise here? any food rations or any sort of
So he picks up the pouch in his mouth, walks over and goes to the edge of the wagon, the cart, and says, "You hold for tricks?"
Sure.
thing yours?
Is that his lockpick tools?
Yes, his little lockpicks.
Okay. Yeah, I'll hold them. I'll put them in my pouch.
Okay, so um, he watches you and sees where you put it.
I'm gonna ask him, hey, Trix, I didn't look very much earlier because I was trying to respect the dead. But did your master have any like cool rings or trinkets on him that I should go take a look at?
Bad man has them all.
Who is it? Do you know who attacked you? You know who attacked you? What kind of creature they were? And you know anything? Are you able to see them?
Give me just a moment. Skills. Let's go with, I think it would be investigation.
Do I get to roll it this time?
No, it looks like Trix rolled a 5.
Big man, big woman. They were bigger than old grungy.
Hmm.
But don't know their name.
Okay.
They kill grungy
Did you
and
see which way
Gerda.
they headed? Did you happen to see which way they were heading?
They went, Trix was hiding. I think they went through trees.
All right.
He sort of points, motions behind you.
All right, well, maybe we should take a look around, see if they happen to be still somewhere nearby, or if they just took off. See if we can find some tracks, perhaps.
So
Sure.
what was your, so you're looking again.
My survival's pretty high. Can I check for footprints in the mud and stuff from like tracking animals and things?
Yep, you should. Oh, I didn't request it. I was gonna say you should both have rolls, but there, I didn't push it.
Aha. Nice. Good rolls.
All right, so you're able to tell that because, especially now that he's moved the bodies and the blood that's there and that's been washed because of the rain and stuff, it's been at least a couple hours since this happened.
Hmm.
And you don't see any other tracks. You do see right around where, especially where the horse was, and then in the road, like where Jackson was just there a second ago, just below Scrambles. You see footprints and stuff in there, larger prints than what would be the two goblins. But as soon as they get off the road and into the trees and stuff, you don't see anything else. So you're not sure, because there's a lot of them as they were moving things around and stuff. So you're not sure. They could have easily gone to the southwest. You're fairly certain they did not go down the road because the
Okay.
tracks are pretty apparent where they're stepping in the mud.
Okay. Is the
But you
wagon
do
worth
see the horse tracks going to the north.
Is the wagon worth saving or no?
No, the wagon is just
Smashed.
broken. Maybe if you were a cartwright, or could, had a wheel, an extra wheel or two, but it looks like the axle itself that holds the two wheels is snapped as well. It's one of
Dang.
the wheels, so.
Is there any sort of metal that uses raw materials for fashioning something at some point? Something I would be interested in as a blacksmith.
Not really. There's the metal rings around where the axle is, where the spokes
Right.
come out. There's a metal ring that holds that together, and then looks like one of the wheels had a metal track around it. The other one did
Right.
not. It did at one point, doesn't, just long since been used.
Right.
But the metal itself is all pocked and somewhat rusted. It looks like an older wagon, so you wouldn't be able to
The,
salvage the
yeah,
metal from it.
the metal is not of quality need.
So Kree says, "Can you all want to? Should we move the wagon out of the way? Do you think?"
Yeah, I'm fine with getting it out of the road so
Okay.
others can get by.
All right. So you guys push the wagon out of the way, and then you head to the north, following the tracks of the horse, and
Hey,
come around the corner, and you see these two bugs, large bugs on the horse, and that's you guys fought off the bugs and were able to. Scrambles went down, but was
Briefly, I briefly
just
went
for a
down.
second.
I rose gloriously after that and cleaved one in
that
half.
smashed the fuck
It's
out of
like
that
I
thing.
didn't
Man.
even. It's like I
Yep,
didn't even go down at all.
exactly.
We're
And
going to
then
go with that story. We'll tell the tales of that.
No one will remember when I fell. It's all about how you get up.
That's right. Exactly.
so then you sort of shake your head and you're back where you left off, and you see Trix is there sitting on a rock as you smashed into it, and where he jumped back a little bit. Um, the You guys are sort of breathing heavy, catching your breath. Now you're soaking wet because your cloaks were off, and or back, and the hoods were back and stuff. But
Right.
you're exhilarated a little bit because you were successful at killing these creatures. Um, what would you like to do?
Then we found out we have horses too.
Yeah. What time is it? Is it morning, noon, night?
So it is
Hard to tell, really.
about 10 o'clock in the morning, a
Oh, wow.
little bit before noon. I mean, a little bit before lunch. You guys were
Right.
traveling for about an hour and a half when you came upon the wagon. You spent probably half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe even an hour, moving the wagon, searching through it, um, talking to Trix, preparing the bodies and stuff, and then now you're here.
All right.
I'm going to give you guys the experience
Nice.
as I put Trix in a party sheet as well. What just happened? Hold on a second.
So Cree was moving the bodies out to take care of it in a thing of respect and whatnot, as far as prayer or saying some sort of a thing over them. That was the intention, correct?
Correct. So you guys got a little extra experience because Trix didn't move. Oh, I keep pushing the wrong button. There we go. All right. So you got a little extra experience because Trix wasn't in the party sheet yet, but he is now. So I'm putting the potions.
We're Jackson. We're Jackson.
All right. So let's see what you guys can see because I can look in the. So you guys can look in the party sheet. If you look up where the cross swords are,
Yeah.
up in the top right next to our three little
Yeah.
heads. If you click that, there's a couple of different reasons why you might want to look at the party sheet. One is the top one is the inventory. So you can see you've got 2 potions of healing and 2 potions you don't know what they are.
Right.
You can also
One each. We can drink one each.
You can also look at the order. So if you look at the second tab, later on we'll worry about this more. But you guys are going to decide the order that you're walking or sleeping when you keep track of watch orders. So who's on what watch at night, or also when you're walking and traveling, what order you're going to be in. So that's what that page is for. And then the next one is a pretty cool one. Go ahead and click on combat.
Wow.
So that keeps track of everything. So it tells you who's done what. And if it's not wide enough, you can widen it out. You should see all the way up to best kill. It lets you know how many hits you've done, how many criticals you've done, your misses, fumbles, your damage that you've dealt, your best hit, all that stuff. It keeps track of all that stuff. So that's why during a fight you saw, hey, this is your best. This is the biggest thing you've taken so far, or your best hit.
Right.
Achievements.
So if you care, it's here. It's also on your character sheet under log. So the tab that says log, that's only for you personally. This one has the whole party and including the DM. All right, so that's what the party sheet is. The question is, who wants the potions? Who's going to hold on to the potions?
I think you found them. You can keep them.
I'll just hand to those. And
You
then
sure?
my null space bag. You want
Press
you
Starfinder.
want you want to you need some healing though, don't you?
Yeah, I
So-
definitely took a big hit.
So you're down 4. If you look at the combat tracker, you can see your hit points are 8, your max is 12, and your wounds are 4.
It's on my main sheet too. I can
So,
see that.
so that does
Yes.
the 4. Does the wounds? Is there fatigue in this one or no?
No.
So, okay, so the wounds are specifically wounds. All
So
right.
if you wanted to, you can each take a healing potion, and then it's just a matter of who wants the other 2.
Okay. And the other two, we don't know what they are. Just, so
Like
so scrambles and Cree need the potion basically.
Yeah.
Well, needs a strong word. They still have Kree still has 18. You can also take a
Yeah.
short rest. So if you want to rest for an hour, you can roll hit dice and get some hit points back. And you get half your level in hit dice back every time you take a long rest.
Okay. Well, I say we take a quick rest, whatever. That makes sense.
Okay.
Poke at the bodies a little bit, kind of look at the flies and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm not be careful with their proboscis. We don't get poked by anything, but
Right.
check them out.
Make sure that your wounds aren't going to be critical or no
Yeah.
poisons or whatever.
I might need you to
Oh,
suck
yeah.
out the venom. Got venom.
I'll leave that to you, sir.
What's
You
in
suck
me?
out
I can't
do your
suck
own
out.
stocking, baby.
It's in my chest. Stop pressing.
So
I see who's my real friend.
so you see
Get the rat
Tricks
to do it.
head
Get
over
Tricks to
toward the horse.
I'll walk over to the horse with Tricks. Sorry about your friend Tricks.
We're going back up this way.
So he sort of stops. It's like Scramble's hungry. Trix was going to have a little snack.
Nope, not hungry for the horse, but thanks. I appreciate it. I'll go check and see if it's dead. Because it was kicking around a second ago. Is it actually dead now?
Yes, and it was just sort of you could tell it was just sort of doing its last.
So it's fresh meat. In other words, it's not going to
Yes.
be.
These
Yeah.
things.
So
It has a
it's,
small slash on one of its back legs, but it's clear that the bugs are what killed it.
Okay. Yeah, be careful eating that, Tricks. It's got bee venom in it, but I mean, if it behooves you, go ahead and have some.
there you go.
Does the horse have saddles on it or anything, or is it just pulling the cart?
It's just pulling the cart. Yep. It
All
has a little what's left of a bridle in it.
I'll grab the tail, because I know that you can use the tail to make like paint brushes and different things like that. And I'll
Okay.
lop off a little part of the tail.
Okay.
And I'll wad it up or nicely. Well, I'll braid it first. Can I braid? I don't know. I have survival. Does that mean I can braid things?
So give me I'll get 2 rolls from you.
Cool. Because if I can braid it first, I'll braid it, then I'll chop it off. Let's see. Big animal handling.
You can probably get a decent length of hair from the mane, depending on how it was cropped. So
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't look pretty, but you know enough about horses as to where and when, to cut it and how to braid it and you tie it off. Um, so yeah, so you have a horse's tail that's braided
Cool.
horse's tail.
So I'll look over at Jackson. Hey, you want any of the hair from the mane or anything off of this before we let it rot out here?
yeah, I'll take a little bit.
All right. So I'll cut some of the mane hair off and bring it over to him. You never
Yeah.
know. Some real artsy fartsy person might want to make a paintbrush or a feather
It can-
duster.
In a pinch, it can be used as tinder
Tinder.
too.
Yeah.
People use it as a tourniquet or something like that. So yeah, let's do that.
All right, so Scrambles is going to hold on to the tail. All right, so don't forget to use your sidekicks. They can do stuff for you. So the way this works, as eventually you will be running them so that, and I'll just be running everybody else. Let me. So when you open up thing, Micah, you'll open up tricks as well, and
Okay.
Ron, you'll open up Cree.
Great.
I probably won't worry about that till level 3. Let you guys get used to D&D a little bit, see what these guys can do. But the way sidekicks work, I don't know if I can share this. No, I can't. Okay. So the way sidekicks work is they have their own. They don't have backgrounds. Their race is whatever they are, like Cranium Rat in this case. And then Trix is what's called an expert, and Cree is a spellcaster. So spellcasters can either focus on healing, and there's 2 other versions of spellcasters. He's a healer because he already healed. You already know that because he healed it.
Yeah.
But what they are is they're basically very dumbed down characters. So unlike a cleric, Cree has 2 cantrips and 1 spell, and he can cast it twice. And that's it. Trix has an attack, a mental attack he can do. He can also help you guys, and he can bite. But his main abilities is he can is his skills. So he has acrobatics, animal handling, investigation, sleight of hand, stealth, and thieves' tools.
Nice.
So he can do all those things, and they will level up with you as you guys level up. And they'll be their levels are not as big as yours. Their hit points, I think, are only D4s, although both of them started off with higher hit points. So like Kree right now has 23 hit points max. But you guys will quickly pass him, especially you barbarians and stuff.
Okay.
So anyway, so that's how that works. But you can talk to them, you can ask them questions. They might be able to identify things for you. They can open doors for you. They might be able to do religion checks for you. Kree has knowledge of Arcana, Perception, Religion, and Stealth,
Nice.
and Intimidation. So you guys probably don't. Neither one of you know Arcana. Neither one of you, I think, know Religion. I'm not sure. Micah might.
No.
Scrambles might. But
I do not have religion.
So you can talk to Kree about those things like that, and Trix can investigate things and look for things, open traps. So
Got this sleight of hand and stealth.
okay.
And then, but the main thing is blacksmithing type of things, and athletics, that sort of thing. Some survival,
All right, and don't forget
perception.
you've got rage. You can
Yeah, I was
rage
gonna
twice,
say.
and you get them back. Um,
I was going to ask you how many times. It says once, and then it says, and then you can do it how many times per day.
right
It
now, you
says
can only do it 2 times a day, and you get it back when you take a long rest. So it's twice a day.
a long rest, meaning it's sleeping overnight.
Correct. 8 hours of rest. Yep.
Cool.
And by
I'll
the
do
way, his ray of frost is a racial thing.
Oh,
If you're wondering why a barbarian is doing ray of frost.
no
So,
idea. It's D&D. Everything is possible.
right. Don't forget your horns. Um,
Yeah, I see
Frigid
Corey.
beam of bright blue light streaking towards the creature within range.
Nice.
yep. Yep.
It is a mystery why having spells like that.
Yeah, that's weird.
All right. So you guys are now. So you take a short rest. Let me push that for you. Rest. Short rest. All right.
Now,
So now, if you want to do, Kree's not going to worry about it. But Scrambles, did you want to use your hit dice, or are you going to wait? So if you look at their main page,
Yep.
just double click that HD1.
HP
HD.
4.
Yep. So you get 4 plus you get whatever your hit point die is. In your case, it's a 10. Jackson's is a 12 plus your con mod, and then you'll get half your level back every night. So you'll get 1 back at night. When you turn like level 3, for example, if you use up all 3, you'll only get 2 back at night. That
Okay.
type of thing.
on the party sheet and under combat, it says that I've taken 6 damage. That's not showing up. Is that just a mistake in the party sheet?
It's not, so what had happened was I was just when I was doing this overlay and getting things set up for the stream, I
Okay.
used you forgetting that it was going to screw with your numbers.
Okay.
So yes, so like Scrambles has a crit that he did at one point
Okay.
in
Yeah,
the
I see
in the
that.
combat that so he now has 2 crits on there instead of just a 1, stuff like that. So
Okay.
um, so it's just a minor thing within 2 or 3 weeks. It won't be important anymore. That one little couple different things you guys have in there.
Okay.
Because to my nod, I don't know how to reset it. I don't think you can. So anyway,
So,
so you guys are ready to head out and head toward Phandalin?
Yes.
so is there a way for Creed to do a hit damage roll or not? As far as
So
his wound?
he can cast cure wounds. He can cast a spell and cure people. He also has hit dice, yes, but he still has 18 left, so he's not really worried about it at this point.
Okay.
You guys get full hit points back every night.
Yeah.
So, and you're only a couple hours away from Phandalin. You don't think anything is going to happen between here and Phandalin?
Right.
Could be wrong. You don't know. All right. So you know about. So you just get back on your horses with your saddlebags. Again, you have things like torch sconces, plowshares, bags of nails. Rain continues to go as you're traveling. So go ahead and both of you give me a roll. History. There we go. Boom. So Jackson, you've been doing a lot of work sending stuff to Fandolin lately. Um, because they're rebuilding it. You don't know all the details about it, but Fandolin existed at least once before, maybe
Right.
twice, you're not sure, but they're rebuilding it. It used to be a very prosperous town a couple hundred years ago. Um, during the war against the Six, it was destroyed. Um, Something about a mine that was close by, uh, and so now this group of people have decided to go back and start rebuilding it. They're too crowded for Neverwinter was too crowded for them, so they decided to leave and come down here. Um, and
I'm,
what were you saying?
I'm a dwarven Todd's blacksmith, so I'm sure I make some good quality stuff.
Yep. And so you've been sending. It's not the first time you've been to Fandolin. You normally go with Kree and usually with one or two people who are hired to travel with you, or sometimes your master's gone himself as well when he wants to get out. Um, uh, and so as you guys can see there in the chat, you have newer houses and that have been built recently, but there's also some of the stone ruins from before that are still there. Um, the mixed hodgepodge of people again. As you're walking through, getting closer, you pass a couple farms along the road. Um, the farms have at least brick, some half brick, some wooden fences around them. People stop and watch as you walk by, uh, and while it doesn't have any walls or garrison, but you do see that most of the adults are armed. So you'll see a couple longbows leaning against walls and stuff here and there with arrows, and then the people themselves usually have some sort of weapon on them as well. And
It's completely usual to see people walking around with swords and that sort of thing
yep,
on them.
correct. So let me throw this at you real quick. So I'm going to try not to push anything bigger than that map that I just sent. I usually try to zoom them down. Is that okay? Is that way too big for you guys to see?
No, it's good.
Okay.
I just pick and shrink it down to the size I want.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, once you get it, you can then screw it, zoom in, zoom out. Fandolin is something we're going to be referencing quite a bit. So if you want to drag it from the dragon head, you can drag it down into one of your hotbars. Again, you can hold Shift, Control, or Alt to get new hotbars if you're running out. But that way, anytime you want to, I don't have to push it to you. You can just click on it and it'll open up. So you all are headed toward Barthen's Provisions,
Okay.
and you're coming from the Triboy Trail, so from the north down, and it's one of the first places you get to is Barthen's Provisions, and there's a bunch of ordinary goods and then backpacks, bedrolls, rations as you come in there. There's no armor or weapons, but you do see other adventuring gear here. So if you guys did want to purchase anything, you could.
I don't need anything special.
So Elmar Barthen is
Well, Emma,
Yep, you know him. You've dealt with him a little bit. He's a lean and balding man, about 50 years old or so. He has a couple young clerks named Ander and Thistle, and they come out once you go in and realize they help you unload your saddlebags. So as you come in, give me just a second. What? My table isn't hidden. As you're coming off the range, sort of standing there in the doorway, stomping your feet, shaking off your cloak. Look around a little bit. Scrambles, you haven't been here before. You may have passed through Phandalin with your troop at some point if you guys went traveling on the roads, but you haven't been into this particular store at least. Here we go. Alright, sorry, I was looking for this table. It's taking me a minute to find it. I have a table of voices, so
Oh, that's cool.
it lets me know, gives me an idea of what to do, and then in this way I can also put it in my notes. So every time we talk to this guy, unlike other times, his voice won't change every time we talk to him.
It's okay.
Ah, Jackson, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Nice to see you. How's things over at the smithy?
Well, I'm pretty good. Set up my own though. Makes my own stuff now, and I'm adventuring out here.
Oh, heading out on your own, I see. Excellent, excellent. Well, hey, look around. I've got some quality stuff. Can never have enough pythons, you know, if you need to do some of that climbing. They're made by a special dwarven smithy up in Neverwinter, huh? Oh, Snikes, you're a big one, aren't you? Who's your friend? He says, looking at Scrambles.
My friend Scrambles here. Careful with him.
Scrambles.
Luckily, this isn't a China shop, you know.
Yeah. I'll reach down, put my hand out to do like a fist bump. I'm not a big handshaker.
And he will sort of return it and says, so, do you folks have anything that you're looking to sell? Or looking to trade?
Yeah.
I'm looking for some pythons, though. I've got 50 feet of rope here. I wouldn't mind having something in case we need to scramble up or down.
I got this one-of-a-kind horsehair. It's unlike any other horse care because it's braided in the beautiful fashion. And I dig it out of my backpack.
Accent going like this.
Carefully set my didgeridoo down. I get it out.
Well, that's an interesting horn. You don't see many of those around.
No. Yeah, you didgeridoo don't. Oh.
Very nice, very nice. Well, let's see here. It looks, I can always, there's 100 uses for horsehair, you know? Tell you what, I'll give you 1 gold piece or 2 gold pieces worth of goods.
Whoa.
I'll take 2 gold pieces worth of goods. That sounds fair. I could always use wooden stakes. Like 4 or 5 inch wooden stakes. I need some of those, and a little bit of rope or twine would be great. And then I'll take the rest, and food rations if you got them.
So you see stuff like cracked spyglass and some artisan tools, hats, gloves, spellbook, pumpkin seeds, a 10-foot pole, pile of stones.
Does he have like garden stakes, like little ones that you you put them in your garden and put like lagoons and then like sunflower seeds, little tiny ones, anything like that? Or bigger stakes that I could make into smaller stakes?
Right. Okay. Give me just a second.
Do I need to
He's,
ask why you need these things?
so
Who knows? I use them for my performances.
There you go.
he says, well, I don't have a lot of those, but I do see that you've got more than a dozen torches on your back. I can have. Where the hell did it go? Andrew over here, he's pretty good with the axe. He can make a couple of those. He can make you some smaller stakes
Yeah,
or,
I just
or little things out of one of your torches if you want.
perfect. Yeah, I just need 4 or 5 of them. And I'll give him
Since,
a torch.
since you're a friend of Jackson, we won't even charge you for it this time.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Just remember, if you need any kind of equipment, you know where to go.
Yes, sir.
Which reminds me, where are we on the map right now?
Barton's Provisions.
So he's actually out of pythons right now.
Okay.
Let me see. Give me just a second here.
Any sort of rock climbing claws, whatever would be good. Any sort of thing like
There it is.
carabiners.
All right, but you have a bunch in the order you just delivered, so he can sell you some for 5 copper pieces apiece for the pythons.
He can use my store credit if he wants to. I don't need it.
You also need something with which to put the pythons into the rock.
Like a hammer?
Right. Yes. Well, I have smith tools though.
Ah, yeah, okay, yep. You can use smith tools for that, yep. So how many pythons would you like?
I'm gonna say about 10.
All right, so that's half a gold piece.
Right. I have 2 gold pieces. Woo-hoo. I got 5. So it goes. So it would be 4 gold pieces, and then copper comes next. Is that correct? It's half a gold piece. Is that the other half is copper? What's the other half? Silver.
Well, it can be either one, but it's not. It's Are you using it out of your own money, or are you using his store credit?
I can give him my store credit. I don't need it for anything. If he's going to make the torches for me into little wooden stakes, that's super useful. And besides, if he's using pythons, I'm probably going to need them anyway, so might as well pitch in.
All right. Cool. Work.
All right, so he takes the horsehair, hands over the pythons. You guys need anything else? Got this nice flask over here. It's always nice having a nice flask on the road with you.
I got my water skin.
I'll go take a look at the flask. What's it look like? How much does it look like is a better question. Is it unique like my one-of-a-kind horsehair?
That's right.
It looks to be about 2 copper.
Oh,
It's a wooden little like canteen thing. The cork stopper.
I got store credit for that. Is there more than one or just the one?
No, he's got about a dozen there.
Oh, I'll take 2.
Does he happen to have rations for tricks that are more specific to his diet? Makes sense.
Yeah, I'll say he's got some like nuts and like horse feed, oats type stuff. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, let's do that too. And how close am I to getting rid of my store credit now with the pythons and the 2 canteens?
So the 10 pythons are half. Did you say you wanted some for yourself, or are you just going to use his?
I'll just use his.
Okay, so half a gold piece. 15. I mean, total of 59 coppers at this point. So we'll round it up to 60 copper, and it's 100 for a gold piece.
Okay. So
And then it'll cost you another, we'll say, 10 for a good-sized bag of oats.
okay. So I'm
So
not even
you're
one
at
gold
70
piece.
gold pieces. I mean, 70 copper. Yep.
Okay. I'll buy another flask for Skeeter, his lizard friend, whatever his name is.
Cree. Okay.
Not Skeeter. I'm sorry. I don't know why. I saw SK and EE and went Skeeter. I'll buy one for Cree so he's not left out.
Okay.
And I don't know.
We
Is
should
there like
put SK after the name, so we have Tricks and then SK and then Cree and SK.
there
So
you go.
we know what they are. What did I say? Healing stuff. Do you have any sort of healing type of thing,
Yeah, any potions or anything?
Michelle? I don't mind spending a little bit more money to get some of that.
If you're looking for healing potions, you should go see Adabra Gwyn over at Umbridge Hill. She'll be able to hook you up with healing potions.
All right.
All right.
Tell him Barthen sent you, and she'll hook you up.
Nice.
Thank you for that connection there. Cool.
All right, so you end up with a gold piece of store credit, or do you want 5 silver?
I'll take a gold piece of store credit. That's fine. Never hurts to have a good established name.
Especially if we're hanging out in the town, we might find out we'll find out something we might need. We're not thinking of right now.
Yep.
Do you have bolts for your crossbow, that sort of thing?
Yes, I do. I have.
Speaking of which, you lost 1, so you're able to recover 1 that you shot.
Okay.
So if you want to mark off 1.
My bolts.
So there's going to be a chance that he can find out how many he's received or retrieved. He may have lost 1, or he'll be able to figure that out, right?
Typically, it's half. So if you shoot 4, you lose 2. Typically.
Okay. Perfect.
Because sometimes they break, or during a fight and stuff, they might get broken or shoot off. Especially a heavy crossbow, they shoot for up to 600 feet, I think it is. So
Yeah, it's pretty far.
Yeah, that's pretty hard. They can just get damaged, get out of shape, lose a feather, whatever, and that's
Yep.
their aim there. So
And not that expensive. All right, so you guys do find real quick. We're getting a little late here. I want to wrap it up. So after you talk to him and head on out, I put scrambles in your inventory. By the way, I just put a line of 1 gold piece store credit at Barthen's.
Oh, cool.
But there is a job board type thing in the middle of town. So if you see outside the Shrine of Luck there in the town square, the rain's starting to let up a bit. And you see that there are 3 things on there. 3 jobs are posted right now, and it's got a little awning on it so it doesn't get wet and stuff for the most part. Looks like so Ron, if you could read this for us.
4 prospectors found ancient dwarven ruins in the mountains southwest of here and have been working archaeological digs seeking treasure and relics. They need to be warned that a white dragon moved into the area. Take the warning to them and return to the town master harbor Wester to collect a reward of 50 gold pieces. Nice.
Oh.
And carry a warning to them and you get some money. That's a nice little chunk there.
Yeah, that's a good chunk of change.
All right, and Micah.
A clan of reclusive rock gnomes resides in a small network of caves in the mountains to the southeast. The gnomes and the Nomengrad, I don't know how to say that, Nomengard, are known for their magical inventions, and they might have something with which to defeat the dragon. Okay, that'll be nice. Get whatever you can from them. If you can bring back something useful and don't want to keep it for yourselves, the townmaster Harbin Wester will pay you 50 gold for it. Okay. Very. Looks like we're going to fight a dragon.
Seems a little more labor intensive, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a lot harder to go get something than to say, hey, watch out.
That's right.
We don't even have to save them. We just have to tell them doom is coming.
And the third one is called the Umbrage Hill Quest. A local midwife and acolyte of Shantae named Adabra Gwyn, you've heard that name before, lives by herself in a stone windmill, on the side of a hill a few miles south of Phandalin. With dragon sightings become more common, it's not safe for her to be alone. Urge Adabra to return to Phandalin. Once she's safe, visit Townmaster Harbin Wester to claim a reward of 25 gold pieces.
That seems like the worst one.
So if you guys
gotta convince a woman to change her mind and take her back to town, and you get half the money.
All right, so if you look over to your right, on one of the little gray boxes, does it say quests?
Negative. I have
All right, so click on the where it says library on the very bottom,
libraries.
and then that will bring up a window.
Yep.
And find where it says quests.
It's under notes in the center column.
Yep. And then click the little circle next to quests, and it'll then pop up on the right.
I see it.
Right.
And if you haven't already, you may want to hit play on the top up by library. And by the way, you don't need NPCs. You don't need story. I don't remember what else it shows up, but anyway, so now that you have quests over there, if you click on that little button,
Questies.
you'll see all three of them there, and you can open them up and look at them and remind yourself what you want to do.
Okay.
So for next week, when we jump back in there, what are you guys thinking of doing? Where would you like to head?
I think Ron had the right idea. Let's go tell those people about the dragons. I think that's the path of least resistance. What do you think?
Dwarven
I think
excavation.
the same thing, because also we might be able to get some more information, be able to spend the money better to prepare if we wanted to do the dungeon quest. I'd rather not go in there blind and try to kill off the dragon.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't want to fight a dragon empty-handed.
Right. So yeah.
Well, at least having 50 gold, we might be able to bribe the dragon not to kill us.
All right, so be thinking about what you want to do. Apparently, there's something about a dragon going on. So, see,
we're going into Dwarven ruins, though, and I know Dwarven stuff like crazy, man. So
Yep. You speak Dwarven as well. Yep. So you guys can decide: do you want to walk around town a little bit, talk to people? Do you want to spend the night here first, or the part of the quest said to head to the southwest, so you can just start wandering off and hoping to find it. So be thinking about what you want to do, and we'll pick up here where you're standing at the job board next week.
Sounds good.
So thank you so much for playing with me, guys. This was a blast. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
We had a couple people watching us for a while, and we'll see how it goes from there. Did you have any questions, any comments?
No, not really.
as it refers to the game new.
Okay. If you get a chance at some point, at least look at the YouTube in the next week. Check it out so you can see exactly how that layout looks with the 4 characters along the bottom and stuff.
Okay.
Let me know if you have any ideas. I think it's a nice looking thing. And for those of you watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe, and join us on Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. each week. Say hello in chat. And whatever else you do, enjoy the rest of your day.
See you.